Many of us have heard the oversimplified advice, just forgive and forget. But when we really break it down and look at it, that's not as easy as we make it out to be. Especially in relationships, like when we keep score. For, all the times my husband leaves his dirty dishes out, or the lights on, or whenever I leave my makeup and curling iron on, or out on the bathroom counter. It really can start to build up. But the Webster Dictionary definition of rumination is to contemplate, consider, meditate on, mull on, or muse. Many have questioned the effects that past relationships play on future relationships. When we give a part of ourselves to someone, we can never really get that part back, and we certainly can't give it to another person later in life. Because love is not just something you can pick and choose when to feel. Every emotional response we have in life has an effect on us later on a different part of our emotions. When we're constantly replaying the past, it makes it almost impossible to focus on the future and move on. So, Anna Lavender and Edward Watkins of the Institute of Psychiatry at King's College in London did a study on rumination and future thinking in depression. They sought out participants who had already been diagnosed with clinical depression, and they wanted to see how thoughts and dwelling on past events affected their ability to imagine a brighter future. Their conclusion was, quote unquote, that ruminative self-focus leads to greater negative future thinking in depressed patients, further confirming that rumination exacerbates negative cognitive biases in depression. Basically, all that means is when we're focusing too much on the negative things, it is nearly impossible for us to ever imagine a positive future together. Rumination does not just threaten relationships out of context from previous relationships, but it can also have a negative effect in your current relationship. Niels B. Johnston, Jonna Karaman, and Katrien Finkenauer out of the Netherlands did a study entitled When Love is Not Blind. Rumination impairs implicit affect regulation in response to romantic and relationship threats. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Basically, it was a study where they had participants recall a time in their relationship where they got really angry with their partner and had negative thoughts or feelings towards them. They retrospectively measured their past feelings toward the partner at the time of the issue as well as their current feelings of them. They also measured to what extent the participants experienced rumination thoughts of their past relationships or their threats in their relationships. The results conferred that regardless of the negative feelings at the actual time, the more ruminative time we spend thinking about each other, the more negative feelings we'll have in the present with each other. Merriam-Webster defines rumination by an intransitive verb as to chew again, to chew what's already been slightly chewed and swallowed, or to chew the cud. Now, we've all seen how mama birds like to chew up their food for baby birds because they can't handle anything solid. And rumination in a relationship, and just like an everyday aspect to kind of picture it, is the same concept, because if you're constantly dwelling on these other things, you're breaking it down from a solid, strong relationship. It means you can't handle things physically, and it just chews it up to where there's nothing left for you to survive off of. In relationships, rumination has little tolerance for forgiveness, because when a partner is constantly dwelling or bringing up the past, it's impossible for your relationship to flourish healthily. Whether it's in the context of a current relationship or a previous one, it's a very destructive path. In order to truly love someone, you must be willing to focus solely on that partner and on that relationship and what's going on at that time with each other, and more importantly, the positive things. Because when you allow past relationships or past negative threats to interfere, it can lead to a dangerous path of confusion or destruction.